If you know, I've been using TruForm Armature on this Warrior, and that's the sculpting stand, or the armature setup that you send you along with the armature, so that you can stabilize it and all that stuff. And I want to tell you, I want to test to the strength of that armature and that sculpting armature. I was undoing him off the sculpting stand, and the whole sculpture fell off the sculpting stand because it was back heavy, and it landed right on the back of the board right there with the Indian facing up. So the Indian never came in contact with the floor. Part of his arm came in contact with the sculpting stand though, and it sort of took out the fringe that was there. But that's the only damage. It didn't even shift it, it didn't crack it, it didn't do anything. It just landed on the floor, and that was quite a drop when you look at the height from that sculpting stand down to that floor. And this is where the clay hit the sculpting stand right there. I mean, the pedestal was right there. So I've got to tell you, TruForm makes very strong armatures, and that's TruForm Armatures.com. When I get home, because I won't have time to do it here. I won't even have time to do her. I've only got a few days, but who knows how much I can get done. Anyway, that's the Hawaiian pose I'm going to do, and this is the armature set up in that pose. And now I just have to start adding clay to it. I want to show you how I set up the armature. You can see how you can easily bend these legs and stuff like that at the joints with this aluminum wire. And then I took the ends of the wire where the end of the foot is and actually drilled a hole into the board. And then I put the wire down into the hole, and then just to tighten it and lock it in place, I put a screw in. I did the same thing on this foot too. And then I needed some support because this thing wants to go up and down, especially when you start getting a lot of weighty clay on it. So I made a temporary armature. I'm going to, I used one of these copper tubing, 1/4 inch. I flattened out one end of it and bent it, and then I drilled holes in it and put screws through that to anchor it to the board. And now I'll just tape this end up to the backbone of the armature, and that will keep it from moving back and forth and up and down. So that'll be a good armature. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and get started on this and see how far I can get today. Well, that's as far as I'm going to take it today. That's one of the beauties of this type of armature system, is that if you want to learn anatomy and learn how to sculpt, you've got the basis, and all you have to do is go from that point to the bone structure and the muscles. And I can't think of a better tool for learning, and a better tool for artists who already have learned and can use some help and some safe, a system that saves them time. And I was able to flesh in the body, and I'm running out of clay again. I had to order some more clay, so I'm heating up the last of what I've got. Go ahead and turn it, Hal. So anyway, I started fleshing in the body this morning. It was just a skeleton, as you remember from yesterday, and just added muscle by muscle, and started doing the face and stuff like that. I had to add a support underneath that leg right there because it was leaning forward because of the weight of the clay. So anyway, I'm going to be getting back to work on it, and I'll come back occasionally to show you what I'm doing. Alright, as you can see, I've got the dress sketched in. That's not the final. It's just, I'm sketching it in with the last of the clay I've got right now. Okay, I've got the skirt. I was experimenting with the texture in the skirt. And what I did was I took melted clay and I just sort of spooned it onto the clay and tried to come up with this texture. I'll show you more of that later. But right now I'm going to start the leaf thing that's hanging around her neck. You can see it in the photograph right here. She's wearing a leaf thing. This young lady's wearing one too. I kind of like hers, but I'm going to stick with the tea leaves for the one I'm doing. And I'm trying to think of which way to have the thing hanging and off her neck and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. Alright, this is her at the end of the day. I've got the texture figured out for the grass skirt. I'll continue that tomorrow. I just want to get this part done here. Got her hair on, figured out the clothes and all that stuff. I'm going to redo her arms and hands on this arm and this hand. So that will come up tomorrow, and I'll be here through Sunday. Now I'm working on the detail of the arm and the hand, separate from the body. It's really nice because, as you can see, the armature comes right off of the wire that holds it on.
Whatever. That's what they have the pins for.
Alright, I just got to put the arm back on, and as you can see, there's a wire there and a hole there, and I just line up the hole and the wire and the arm itself, and I just slip it back together, and it's back on. So now I've got the hand and the arm, and I'm going to continue working on it. Alright, I've been working on the arms and got them just about where I like them. Finishing up the hand right there, and now I'm working on the texturing of the dress itself and trying to get that going. Now what I do is I put the light right down next to the clay, and that heats up the clay to a real, almost a liquidy form, and then I can scoop up some of the clay and put it on the thing. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, I'm taking the clay, now you can see it how soft it is, and then I take that and I put it onto the sculpture like that, and I just scoop it on, just like you're putting frosting on a cake.
Almost, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then I just like that, like that. Yeah. As you can see, I've removed her arm so that I can work on her hair. The armature, the TruForm Armature, makes it easy to do that because that's part of the armature right there, the bone structure of the arm. And right there is the wire that I just push it onto, so I can work on behind the arm and behind the hand. Also, I can do some detailing on the fingers too, which I've been working on, putting knuckles on her fingers. So that's what I'm doing right now. As you saw me do, I cut the lip off because I noticed it stuck out way too far. And I wanted to bring it back a little bit, and so what I do is I cut off the lip right at the lip, and then I just cut back, went back just a little bit and cut down straight so that this would fit back in, but it would fit back in a little bit further. I know that seemed a little strange, but it saves hours of work on the lips, which are already good. It's just that I needed to reset them in her face. And I just thought, why not? And so that's really the first time I ever tried that. Now I'm going to take her bottom lip down just a little. It's a little too fat. Alright, that's it.